Right. So in this video we will discuss the maths lesson of grade 8. So what are we going to learn in this lesson? We are going to learn about kilograms and metric tons. What are the relationship between these two units? Okay. So how we convert them, that means how do we convert kilograms into tons, then how we convert tons into kilograms. Not only that, how do we add masses regarding kilograms and tons, how do we subtract them, how do we multiply them, how do we divide them. So these are the basic things that we will cover in this video. So take a look at the subheading, expressing a mass given in metric tons in kilograms. What do we have to do? When a mass has been given to us in metric tons, we need to convert that into what? Kilograms. What is the only connection between metric tons and kilograms that we know? 1 ton, that is equal to 1000 kilograms, no? That is the only connection, right? So how do we convert a mass given to us in metric tons into kilograms? What do we have to do? Simply we need to multiply that mass by 1000. That's the only thing that we need to do. Okay, exercise 1, question number 1. We have been given a mass of 8.756 tons. So we need to convert that into what? Kilograms. So what do we have to do? 8.756, we need to multiply that by 1000. So what will be the answer? 8756. Now these are what? Kilograms. Question number 2. We have been given, which is 3 tons and 850 kilograms. So we need to convert this entire amount into kilograms, right? So here 850 kilograms part, we don't have to do any conversions. Why? It is already given to us in kilograms. These 3 tons we have to convert. So what do we have to do? 3, we have to multiply that by 1000. So we get 3000 kilograms. Then to get the final answer, we have to add the 850 kilograms also. So 3000 plus 850, we get what? 3850 kilograms. That will be the answer. Part 3. What do we have? We have 3.5 tons to convert into what? Kilograms. So 3.5 tons means what? We can rewrite this as what? 3.5 tons, no? Both are the same. Then what do we have to do? 3.5, we have to multiply that by 1000. So we get what? 3500 kilograms. That's the answer. Right. Question number 4. We need to convert this entire mass into what? Tons and kilograms. So first of all, we will convert this entire amount into what? Kilograms. So 8.756, we need to multiply that by 1000. So we get 8756 kilograms. So 8756 kilograms, we can rewrite this as what? 8000 kilograms and 756 kilograms. If we add these two values together, we get this value. So 8000 kilograms means what? 8000 kilograms, if we divide it by 1000, what do we get? 8 tons. So they are asking us to leave the final answer or give the final answer in tons and kilograms, no? Right? So we can convert this amount into what? Tons. So 8000 kilograms, that is what? 8 tons. Then write the remaining amount of kilograms. 756 kilograms. So that will be the answer. Right. So we will take a look at the next subheading, which is expressing a mass given in kilograms in metric tons. So essentially what do we have to do? We have to convert kilograms into metric tons. The only relationship between metric tons and kilograms is what? 1 ton, that is equal to 1000 kilograms. If we want to convert tons into kilograms, what do we have to do? We have to multiply by 1000. The given mass, we have to multiply it by 1000 to convert it into kilograms. Now what do we have to do? The other way around. The mass is given to us in kilograms, so we need to convert that into what? Tons. What do we have to do? We have to divide by 1000. So you have to remember these. Right. Exercise 2, under that part 1, what do we have? We have 2758 kilograms that we need to convert into what? Tons. So we know 1 ton, that is equal to 1000 kilograms. So what do we have to do? 2758, we have to divide by 1000. So what will be the answer? 2.758. These are metric tons. Now you have to remember how we divide a whole number by a power of 10. We learned that. So that's the technique we apply here. So 2758 divided by 1000, what do we get? 2.758. The unit will be what? Tons. Part 2. We have 2225 kilograms. This entire amount we have to convert into what? Tons and kilograms. So 2225 kilograms, we can rewrite this as what? 2000 kilograms plus 225 kilograms. Now this 2000 kilograms, we can convert it into what? Tons. So 2000 we can divide by 1000. What do we get? 2 tons. So when we convert 2225 kilograms into tons and kilograms, it will be what? 2 tons and 225 kilograms. That's the answer. Exercise 2, part 3. So we have been given a mass which is given to us in tons and kilograms. So we have to convert this entire amount into what? Tons. In this given amount, we don't have to do any conversions to the tons amount. 3 tons we don't have to convert. This we have to convert. So what do we have to do? 675, we have to divide it by 1000. What will be the answer? 0.675. So it will be tons. Then what do we have to do? To get the final answer, we have to add this amount to this. So 3 tons, to that we have to add 0.675 tons. So finally the answer will be what? 3.675 tons. Right. So we will move to the next subheading. Addition of 2 masses expressed in metric tons and kilograms. Right. So these are the 2 masses. So this will be question number 1. So the question is included in the tute. So we can put a 0 here as a placeholder. So we are doing an addition. We have tons and kilograms, metric tons and kilograms. So we need to start from somewhere. So we start from the smallest unit out of the 2, metric tons and kilograms. We start from kilograms, right? So we will consider these 2 as numbers and do the addition. So 675, to that we have to add a 40. 5 plus 0, that's a 5. 7 plus 4, that is 11. So we have to push over the 1. 6 plus 0, that is 6. Add the 1, it becomes 7. So 715. Now we have done adding the kilogram column. So now we have to move to the metric tons column or the tons column. There what do we have to do? 10 plus 3. So it will be 13. So finally what's the answer? 13 tons and 715 kilograms. Right. So this is the second question in the tute. Right. So here we have been given another 2 masses that we have to add. So we need to do addition. We have metric tons and kilograms. So we start from kilograms. So 350, to that we have to add what? Now remember, we are adding units. So here we are adding two masses which are given to us in what? Metric tons and kilograms. So simply we can't write 1150 under the kilograms column. We have to rewrite it, okay? So 1150 kilograms. So I can rewrite this as what? 1000 kilograms plus 150 kilograms. So this 1000 kilograms we know is what? 1 ton, no? This 1000 kilograms we can convert it into what? Metric tons. So it will be 1 metric ton. We know 1 metric ton is equal to what? 1000 kilograms. What's the number that we can actually write under the kilograms column? 150. Then this 1000 kilograms we convert it into metric tons and we will push over to the other side. Now we are done adding the kilograms column. Now we will add the masses in the metric tons column. So 181 we will add a 60. So 1 plus 0 that's a 1. 8 plus 6 that is 14, so that's a 4. Push over the 1 to the other side, other place. 1 plus 0 it is 1. Add the 1 it becomes 2. So we get 241. When we add these two values we get what? 241. But we have to add this one also, right? So it becomes what? 242. So 242 metric tons. So finally, what's the answer? 242 metric tons and 150 kilograms. Right, so this is the next question that has been given to us. So we will start from the kilograms column. Okay, 5 plus 7 that is 12. So we have to pass over the 1. 5 plus 8 that is 13. Add the 1 it becomes 14. Again we have to pass over the 1. 7 plus 4 that is 12. Add the 1 it becomes 13. So these are kilograms. So we can't write 1342 kilograms under the kilograms column. So we have to rewrite it. 1342 kilograms. So that means 1000 kilograms and 342 kilograms. So just as before we can convert this 1000 kilograms into what? 1 metric ton. Right? So the number that we can write under the kilograms column is what? 340. Now we are done adding the kilograms column. So we move over to the metric tons column. Right, so when we add 17 to 63, what do we get? 80. But we have to add this one also. So it becomes what? 81 tons. Finally, what is the answer? 81 tons and 342 kilograms. Right, so we will move to the next question. So this is the addition that we have to do. Right, so we will start from the kilograms column. Okay, so 9 plus 3 that's a 12. So we have to pass over the 1. 7 plus 8 that is 15. Add the 1 it becomes 16. Again we have to pass over the 1. 6 plus 7 that is 13. Add the 1 it becomes 14. So 1462 we can't write under the kilograms column. So we have to rewrite it. 1462 kilograms. So we have to rewrite it as what? 1000 kilograms plus 462 kilograms. This 1000 we will convert into what? Metric tons, right? So it will be 1 metric ton. 462, that's the number that we can write under the kilograms column. Okay, so now we are done adding the kilograms column. So we will move to the metric tons column. So when we add these two values, we get 86. To that, we have to add this one. So 86 plus 1, what will it be? 87. So finally, what's the answer? 87 metric tons and 462 kilograms. So the next topic that we need to discuss is what? How do we subtract masses? Now, when we talk about addition and subtraction is a bit different. Right, so this is the first question that is given on the tube. We need to subtract these two masses. So we have tons or metric tons and kilograms. So just as before, when we did in addition, we start from where? Kilograms. So the most important thing, when we do subtraction, now we are starting from the kilograms column now. So the first thing you need to do is what? We have to check whether we can subtract 815 from 480, or simply 418 minus 815, can we do? We can't. Then what do? We borrow a 1 from the tons. So when that 1 ton comes over to the kilogram side, it becomes what? 1000 kilograms. So in this position, how many kilograms are there after we borrow a 1 metric ton? What is that? 1000 plus 480. So what do we get? 1418. Now can we subtract 815 from it? Of course. Okay. So 1418 minus 815, we get what? 603. So that is the number that we can write under the kilograms column. Now the subtracting of the kilograms is over. So we move to the metric tons. So we gave 1 metric ton to the kilogram side now. So how many metric tons are there now? 6. 6 minus 3, what do we get? 3. So finally, what's the answer? 3 tons and 603 kilograms. Okay, so this is the second question in the tute. So here also we have to do the same process. So we have to do a subtraction. So we start from here. So the first thing we need to check is what? Can we subtract 807 from 614? We can't. So what do? We borrow a 1 from the metric tons column. So after we borrow a 1, the number of metric tons will be what? 11. On the kilogram side, on this place, after we borrow a 1, how many kilograms are there now? 1000 plus 614. So it will be 1614. Now we can subtract 807 from it. Okay, so 1614 minus 807, what is that? 4 minus 7 we can't do. 14 minus 7, that's a 7. So here the remaining digit will be 0. 0 minus 0, that's a 0. 6 minus 8 we can't do. 16 minus 8, that is 8. So here we get what? 807. So now the subtracting of the kilogram column is over. So we move over to the tons column. There what do we have? 11 minus 9, we get what? 2. So always remember, in this question we gave 1 to the kilograms column. And because of that, 11 is the remaining amount of tons or metric tons. So 11 minus 9, what do we get? 2. So finally, what's the answer? 2 tons and 807 kilograms. Okay, so this is the third question in the tute. So we have to do a subtraction. So we start off from the kilograms column. So 375 minus 712. So we can't do this. So what do? We borrow a 1 from the metric tons. So when we do that, number of remaining metric tons will be what? 22. How many kilograms are there now? 1000 plus 375. So 1375 kilograms. Right. Now we can do this subtraction. 5 minus 2, that's a 3. 7 minus 1, that's a 6. 3 minus 7 we can't do. 13 minus 7, that's a 6. So here what do we have? 663. So then we move to the metric tons column. So 22 minus 18, what is that? 4. So finally what's the answer? 4 tons and 663 kilograms. Right. So the next subheading. Multiplication of a mass expressed in metric tons and kilograms by a number. So we will go to exercise number 5, question number 1. The mass of a concrete beam used to build a flyover bridge is 6 tons and 500 kilograms. 5 such beams are placed across 2 columns. Find the total mass borne by the two columns. So if we consider one beam, what is the mass? 6 tons and 500 kilograms, no? How many beams are there? 5. So this mass must be what? We must multiply this mass by what? 5. Just imagine if one book is 100 rupees, what is the price of 5 books? 100 into 5, no? Which is 500. So here we have to apply the same concept. Okay? So what we need to do? We need to multiply the mass of one beam by what? Number of beams. In this case, what is that? 5. How do we do this multiplication? So there are several ways. So one way is convert this entire amount. That means the mass of one beam into what? Kilograms. So 6 tons and 500 kilograms. We need to convert this entire amount into what? Kilograms. So now we know how to do that. So here what do we need to convert? We only need to convert this 6 tons. Right? 500 kilograms is already given to us in kilograms. No? So 6 tons, what is that in kilograms? 6 into 1000. So it will be 6000 kilograms. To that, what do we need to add? 500. So both of these are kilograms. So we get what? 6500 kilograms. Now what do we need to do? We can consider 6500 as a number and do the multiplication. Right. So 5 into 0, 0. 5 into 0, again 0. 5 into 5, 25. So that's a 2. 5 into 6, 30. Add the 2, it becomes 32. Now what is this? 32,500 kilograms. This is the answer, but the thing is, the mass of one beam is given to us in tons and kilograms. So it is better for us to convert this mass into what? Tons and kilograms, right? So 32,500, we need to convert this into what? Tons and kilograms, or metric tons and kilograms, right? So what do we need to do? 32,500 kilograms, I can rewrite this as what? 32,000 plus 500. Now both of these are what? Both of these are kilograms, huh? Right? Both of these are kilograms, right? So here 32,000 kilograms. If I take 32,000 kilograms and divide it by 1000, I get 32 tons, right? That means 32,000 kilograms, what is that? 32 tons. Then 500 kilograms. So that will be the answer. Right. So what is the other way of doing this? Simply we can multiply in this manner. Okay. So we will multiply 500 kilograms by 5 first. So 500 into 5, what do we get? 2,500. But these are what? Kilograms. Now the thing is, we can't write 2,500 here. So 2,500 kilograms, I can rewrite this as what? 2,000 kilograms and 500 kilograms. Now this 2,000 kilograms, if we convert this amount into tons, what will it be? 2 tons. What we do is, after we have finished multiplying metric tons by 5, we add 2 tons to that value. So what's the value that we can write under kilograms? This 500. So under the kilograms column, we can write 500. So this is 500 kilograms. So now we have done multiplying kilograms. So we have to multiply the metric tons part. 5 into 6, what is that? 30. To that we add a 2. Don't forget that, huh? So this becomes what? 32. So just as before, we get the same answer. So here, what's the answer? 32 tons and 500 kilograms. So in the next question, we have to do this multiplication. So just as before, I will be doing the same question using two methods. Okay. So one method is we can convert this entire amount into what? Kilograms. So 5 tons and 120 kilograms. So we need to convert only this amount, right? So 5 tons, we need to multiply that by what? 1000. So this becomes what? 5000 kilograms. So to 5000 kilograms, we need to add what? 120. So this becomes 5120 kilograms. Now what we do is, we consider 5120 as a number and we will multiply that by 12 in the usual way. Okay, so 2 into 0, 0, 2 into 2, 4, 2 into 1, 2, 2 into 5, 10. Then what do we get? 5120, no? Then we will add these two together. So 0, 4, 4, 1, 6. So that means we get 61,440. Now these are what? Kilograms. So just as in the previous question, it is better for us to convert this into what? Tons and kilograms. So here we need to do this conversion. So 61,440. I will rewrite this as what? 61,000 kilograms and 440 kilograms. 61,000 kilograms means what? We can convert this into tons, right? So that means what? 61,000, we have to divide it by 1000. So this becomes what? 61. These are what? Tons. Then the remaining value, which is 440 kilograms. So this is the answer. Right. So in the next method, just as before, we have to do the multiplication in this manner. So 12, we have to multiply the kilogram amount, and also 12, we have to multiply the metric tons amount. 120 into 12. 120 means what? 12 into 10 into 12. So I have written 120 in this manner. 12 into 12, we know that is 144. 144 into 10, we know that is 1140. So these are what? Kilograms. So we can't write 1440 under the kilograms column. So 1440. So we have to rewrite this as what? 1000 plus 440. Both of these are kilograms. So the number that we can write under kilograms is what? 440. This 1000, these are kilograms. So we can convert it into what? Tons. So this will be what? 1 ton. So when we multiply the metric tons by 12, we get the value, no? So for that value, we have to add 1 ton. Right? So 12 into 5, what is that? 60. To that we will add 1. So this becomes what? 61. Finally, what will be the answer? 61 tons and 440 kilograms. So now we will go through how to divide a given mass using a whole number, right? So what do we have? Under division of a mass by a whole number, if a mass of 6 tons and 750 kilograms of rice is loaded equally into 5 lorries, let us find the mass of the rice loaded into 1 lorry. එතකොට අපිට මෙන්න මෙච්චරක් ප්‍රමාණයක් තියෙනවා මොනවද? හාල්. So this is the total amount. This amount has been loaded into how many lorries? 5. ඔක්කොම ටික මෙච්චරයි. ලොරි පහක් තියෙනවා. Then what happens? How do we find the amount of rice that is loaded onto 1 lorry? We have to divide this mass by what? The number of lorries. In this case, how many lorries? 5, right? First of all, we have to convert this entire kilograms. Why? Here we have tons and kilograms. So it is better to convert this entire mass into a 1 unit. So when we are choosing the unit, it is better if we choose the smallest unit. So between tons and kilograms, we know that kilograms is a smaller unit, right? Okay, so we know that 1 ton is equal to 1000 kilograms. We have here 6 tons and 750 kilograms. So this amount we don't need to convert into what? Kilograms, right? This is 750 that is given to us in what? Kilograms. So we don't have to do any conversions. But 6 tons we need to convert, right? So 6 tons, that is what? 6 into 1000. So we get 6000 kilograms. Now here we have to add what? 750. So we have to add 750. So that is also kilograms. So what is the total amount? 6750 kilograms. Now what do we do? Now divide, right? So we divide this by 5. How many 5s are there to 6? We can go up to 1. 5 times 1, that is 5. 6 minus 5, we get a 1. Now drag down this 7. How many 5s are there to 17? We can go up to 3. 5 times 3, that is 15, right? So 17 minus 15, we get a 2. Now get this 5. How many 5s are there to 25? Exactly 5. 5 times 5, that is 25. 25 minus 25, we get 0. Now we will drag this 0. So we will completely do the division part, right? So how many 5s are there to 0? None. So I put a 0 here. 5 times 0, that is 0. 0 minus 0, we get a 0. So when we divide 6750 by 5, we get 1350, right? So what does this value mean? That means, according to the question, when this amount of mass is loaded onto 5 lorries, right? Each lorry has what? 1350 kilograms of rice loaded to it. But the thing is, it is better for us to write down this amount, which is now we calculated it in kilograms. No? So first of all, it has been given to us as what? Tons and kilograms. So it is better for us if we convert this amount into what? Tons and kilograms, right? So what will that be? 1 ton and 350 kilograms. Right, so we will go to the next example. A mass of 16 tons and 200 kilograms of paddy in a storehouse is loaded equally into 9 lorries. Let us find the mass of the paddy loaded into 1 lorry. Right, so basically the same thing, right? Okay, so what is the total amount? 16 tons and 200 kilograms, right? Okay, how many lorries are there? 9 lorries. So what do we have to do? We have the total amount of mass, which is 16 tons and 200 kilograms. In this question, these are what? Rice. Okay, so this has been loaded into 9 lorries. So what do we have to do? In order to calculate the amount of rice loaded into 1 lorry, we have to divide this amount by 9. So just as before, we have to convert this amount into what? All amount into kilograms, right? So we don't have to convert 200 kilograms into anything because it is already given to us in kilograms. So we have to convert this. So 16, we have to multiply that by 1000. So we get 16,000. Now these are kilograms. To that we have to add another 200. So we get what? 16,200 kilograms. Now what do? We divide it by 9. Right. How many 9s are there for 16? We can go up to 1. 9 times 1, that is 9. 16 minus 9, we get a 7. Now we will get this 2, altogether 72. How many 9s are there to 72? 8. Right? So 9 times 8, that is what? 72. 72 minus 72, we get a 0. Right? So we will drag down this 0. How many 9s are there to 0? 0. 9 times 0, 0. 0 minus 0, we get a 0. Again, we have to drag down this 0. How many 9s are there to 0? None. So we put a 0 here. 9 times 0, 0. 0 minus 0, we get a 0. Right. So what does this mean? Each lorry has 1800 kilograms of rice loaded to it. So just as before, it is better for us to convert this amount. Now these are kilograms. No, total amount we got it in kilograms. So we will convert this into what? Tons and kilograms. So this will be 1 ton and 800 kilograms. A lorry had to make 7 trips in order to transport a quantity of rice of mass 66.5 tons. If the lorry carried an equal amount of rice on each trip, find the mass of the rice it carried on one trip. So we have 66.5 tons of rice. A lorry transported this rice from one place to another place, right? And each time, right, it carried the same amount of rice. The lorry had to make 7 trips in order to transport this entire amount of rice from one place to another place. What do we have to do? We have the total amount of rice. So the same lorry had to travel or do the transport 7 times, right? So what do we have to do? Divide this amount of rice by 7. So to do that, we can convert this entire amount which is given to us in tons into what? Kilograms. So that is one way of doing it, right? So we know that 1 ton, that is equal to 1000 kilograms, right? So 66.5, we will multiply that by 1000, so we will get 66,500 kilograms of rice. Then what do? We will divide 66,500 by 7. So how many 7s are there in 66? We can go up to 9. 7 times 9, that is 63. 66 minus 63, we get a 3. Now we will take this 5. How many 7s are there to 35? Exactly 5. 7 times 5, that is 35. 35 minus 35, we get a 0. Now drag down this 0. How many 7s are there in 0? 0. 7 times 0, we get a 0. 0 minus 0, we get a 0. Then we will drag down this 0. How many 7s are there to 0? Just as before, 0. 7 times 0, we get a 0. 0 minus 0, we get a 0. In any case, when we divide 66,500 by 7, we get 9,500 as the answer. What does this number mean? These are kilograms, huh? What does this number mean? So the lorry had to make 7 trips in order to transport this entire amount of rice from one place to another place, no? So each time it carried 9,500 kilograms. So another good thing that we can do, so here the mass is given to us in tons, no? So it would be a plus point for us if we can convert this amount of mass which is in kilograms into tons. So what do? We divide 9,500 by 1000. Then what do we get? 9.5 tons. 9.5 tons. Okay, so there's another way of doing this. So take 66.5 in tons. So we will divide this by what? Now previously we took what? We converted this entire amount into what? We converted this entire amount into kilograms. Now what do? Take the amount in tons. So we will divide it by what? 7. How many 7s are there to 66? We can go up to 9. 7 times 9, that is 63. 6 minus 63, we get a 3. Put the decimal point, drag down the 5. How many 7s are there to 35? Exactly 5. 7 times 5, 35. 35 minus 35, we get a 0. So here we get 9.5 tons as the answer, right? So previously, even though when we convert the entire amount into kilograms and then divide it by 9, we get the same answer. The previous method is somewhat long, but the thing is, most students dividing a decimal number, 66.5, that is a decimal number, right? So most of the students are somewhat dislike that process. හරි දශම සංඛ්‍යාවක් බෙදන එකට ළමයි වැඩි එච්චර කැමති නෑ. ඒක හන්ද මම ක්‍රම දෙකම කෝකටත් කිව්වා. මේ ක්‍රමේ ලේසි. ඉක්මනට උත්තරේ ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right. So how do we verify the answer? Right? Simply take 9.5 and multiply it by 7. 7 times 5, that is 35. So we have 3. 7 times 9, that is 63. Add the 3, we get 66. So the answer is 66.5 tons. So the answer is correct. Even though, if we take 9,500 kilograms, the answer is the same. 9,500, so these are kilograms. We have to multiply that by what? Multiply that by 7, right? So I can rewrite this. So this is somewhat of a shortcut. So 95, I will multiply that by 100. Same thing, no? When we multiply these two, we get 9,500. Now what do? I will multiply 95 by 7. 95 I am going to multiply by 7. 7 times 5, that is 35. So we have 3. 7 times 6, that is 63. Add the 3, it becomes 66. So then what I do? 665, I will multiply that by 100. So what do we get? 66,500. So these are kilograms. See, we get the same answer.